about the time that you get off your phone, you put the phone down and stop seeking validation and you go talk to your husband. And if you tell me that you've talked to him multiple times, then I have to ask the question, when did you talk to him? Did you bring up the issues right when he was walking through the door after a long day? Were you festering on it all day that it became some passive-aggressive behavior? Did you tell him while you were cooking and he was taking care of the children, or he was about to do the lawn or do something around the house without distraction? Did you sit down and have a real conversation about expectations surrounding the household instead of making dumbass videos like this? Do you think partner shaming your husband is going to really create the change that you're looking for? Genuine question. Can you imagine if men came online and shamed their wives for sleeping too much after taking care of their children? He would get dragged in the comments. And what's crazy is y'all would rather seek advice and opinions and validation from random strangers on the internet than you rather fix your marriages. I can promise you that posting videos like this is only going to make your husband resent you, for one, and two, it's not going to create the change that you're looking for. If anything, it's going to make him stop even helping you with the little things and the things that he actually is putting effort into. That's the other thing, is so many of y'all love to focus on all of the things that he's not doing rather than focusing on the little things that he actually is doing. Men take care of things that women take for granted that y'all start to forget once you're married long enough. The same way you feel unappreciated and taken for granted for dishes, he feels the same way about the lawn, the cars, and anything else he's done around the house. But y'all don't think it's weird that you rather get online and seek the validation and the attention rather than just going to have a real conversation with your husband? Okay, bye. How is it always your husband's fault when you start 90% of all arguments? How is it always a man's fault when every single argument in most relationships is started by women? Can someone explain that to me? It is not your husband or your boyfriend's problem if you don't know how to deal with conflict when you start conflict. And once you understand that the majority of women start arguments and then flip it to make it a man's fault, it helps you understand how delusional a lot of these women are. But no, seriously, your husband or your boyfriend is not your dad. When you give the silent treatment and expect to still get your way, he doesn't have to put up with that. When you make up all these false bullshit and start fake crying in front of him, expecting sympathy, he's not your dad. He doesn't have to give you any kind of empathy or sympathy in problems that you created. Your husband or boyfriend doesn't have to tolerate disrespect. He doesn't have to have all of these rules put upon him that he can't have a guy's night, he can't have hobbies, you have to go through his phone all the time. But then when he tells you no on a girl's night or that you can't have any money, now it's a problem. You don't get to lie. You don't get to be disrespectful. You don't get to have a guy best friend and then have your hand out expecting him to pay your way or put gas in your car or still be respectful if you're not reciprocating that same level of respect. Like, why is it always his fault if you're the one always starting arguments? Why is it always his fault if he has to go through your phone? Why is it always his fault if you're not being honest and upfront with him and you're being sneaky? He's not your dad. He doesn't have to fall for this bullshit. He doesn't have to fall for the crocodile tears. And the tantrums might have worked with your dad, but they're not going to work with your husband or boyfriend. Some of you have so much delusion because you swear that it's everybody else's fault, even though you're the one starting the problems 99.9% of the time. How is that man supposed to still want to do shit for you if you find every little thing to bitch about? How is he supposed to still show up in a relationship when nothing he ever does makes you happy? When you're treating him like shit and he's giving you back the same energy, that doesn't make him a narcissist. That doesn't make him abusive. That doesn't make him someone that needs therapy. That is a man standing on business and respecting his freaking boundaries because he's a human being that still deserves the same level of respect. How is he supposed to be the best version of himself for you when you expect this princess treatment and you use it as an excuse to treat him like shit? Newsflash, the princess treatment is bullshit. Y'all made that shit up so you didn't have to have any accountability and you could cry to your husbands like you do your dads and expect the same forgiveness. Your husband or boyfriend does not have to accept your past trauma. He is not the one there to fix you and mold you and help you and cater to you like your dad did. It's a freaking partnership, and some of y'all are acting like 12-year-old little brats expecting to get your way all of the time, even though everything in your relationship is started because you're having a tantrum or you're on your period or you're upset about not eating or you're just a girl and you want to just gaslight that man into being treated like shit because you don't actually know how to be a good partner in a relationship. Okay, bye. Someone tell me why men are expected to show up to relationships being emotionally available, but women are not expected to show up to relationships being rationally available. The messed up part about all this is when a man isn't able to show up emotionally available, he's dismissed or considered weak, or he needs to go to therapy. But if a woman comes into a relationship being irrational, it's blamed on her hormones, and she's immediately validated, and the man is invalidated. The interesting part about this is you could almost look on any social media website and look up, am I the asshole for using my hormones and my irrational behavior against my boyfriend? And men have been conditioned into believing that this is acceptable behavior. But it makes me wonder, if a woman is able to come into a situation, for example, she thinks her man's cheating, instead of going on a rampage and making fake social media accounts to catch him, or yanking his phone, or going through the phone when he's sleeping, if she's able to come into a situation being more rational, would it open up a man to being more emotionally available because he feels safer? It's just another example of how men have to show up differently than women, and men have to bring everything, and women have to bring little to nothing to a relationship. Okay, bye.
It is appalling to think about how a woman spends a man's $300 to $400 in child support every month on things like clothes for her kids, shoes for her kids, a winter coat, a haircut, birthday parties, camp, activities, the dentist and the doctor and medicine, rent, utilities, gasoline for the car, and then she takes the huge surplus that's left over and she goes to the mall and she gets herself a bunch of outfits, she gets her hair done, her makeup done, her nails done, and it's all on the man's dime.
I love how so many women love to make videos like this and try to make these men look terrible for wondering where their child support money goes to, but what they really do is out themselves for the types of men that they marry and that they put themselves around. Because why is it that you're so worried about child support? Why is it that you're not financially stable enough to be able to fund these children's lives with or without child support? In my opinion, the children should automatically go to whichever parent is more financially stable. But not only that, is y'all don't even think about the people that have 50-50. So 1 week they're at mom's, 1 week they're at dad's. Both houses are paying for food, groceries, medicine, and all of the things that you listed. But then you also listed rent and utilities. With or without children, you'd be paying rent and utilities. So it's not his responsibility to fund your lifestyle. But what really stands out to me is y'all always want to come at the men, but you never want to acknowledge that there's actually women out here that refuse to get a job, that want the ex-husband or the ex or the baby daddy to pay their way. They make a minimum wage job, if that, while their parents fund their lifestyle, while getting on the internet and bitching about how their baby daddy is a deadbeat, even though she's getting $500, $800 a month from him, which actually covers her rent because she's renting from her parents and doesn't have an actual mortgage, or she doesn't have a car and she doesn't have all of these things, or she's even posting content online and then hiding those funds when it comes to mediation. But y'all never want to talk about those types of women. You want to just drag the men, and then when these men ask for proof as to where the child support is going, y'all don't want to, because y'all know damn well that it's not going to the kids all of the time. Okay, bye.
I mean, these women are out here online filming TikToks about their husbands instead of actually talking to their husbands, and they wonder why their husband is checked out of the relationship. You're going to start an argument, shame him on the internet, then cry that he's distant. It's not communication. Like, you guys don't seem to understand the difference between communication and public humiliation disguised as venting. Y'all like to say that when y'all don't want to be held accountable and y'all just want to talk crazy about your man. Men are tired of that crap. Men are tired of being everyone's emotional punching bag. He's not your therapist. He's not your father, and he doesn't owe you sympathy for problems that you freaking created. When a man finally enforces his boundaries, then suddenly he's a narcissist. Imagine that. Somebody saying, hey, that's as far as you go. You've been disrespecting me this whole entire time. I want to make sure that we're on the same page. You don't need to be doing that. Suddenly he's a narcissist. No, he's just done being disrespected. You guys don't seem to understand that men, despite what you might believe, deserve to actually live a peaceful life.
Everyone seems to be interested in why I'm getting divorced, so for pickup line tea time today, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, clearly there is a lot of backstory, and this is just going to be like the very long story short, like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So Aaron and I have always kind of struggled financially, and we have always barely made it. Let's just put it at that. We've always got it done, but barely. And so then we moved into our most recent house, and he had left a job to try to do a different job. That job wasn't paying him well, and so he ended up falling behind, and we were behind, and he went back to his old job and couldn't catch up, and the mortgage company only wanted the payment in full, and they were not working with or not letting him do a payment plan, so on and so forth. So we eventually foreclosed on the house. And so the weekend that we were moving out of the house that we foreclosed on, he was telling me that he wants to get me pregnant, and I said, absolutely not. This is not the time. We're about to move into my parents' house, and I do not want to be pregnant right now. I don't want to have a baby. Well, lo and behold, that weekend, he got me pregnant. And I just will never believe that it was an accident. He said it was an accident, but I was like, I specifically said, no, I do not want to be pregnant, so don't you think you would be more careful or whatever? He knew I was not on birth control. We were both aware of what we were doing, clearly. But I just think that we've never had an accident aside from Ella, which, again, we knew what we were doing, but didn't really want to be pregnant at the time. But in the past 7 years since that happened, we have never gotten pregnant unintentionally. And so I just think it's a weird coincidence that it happened right when we were foreclosing on our house, which makes me feel like it was not an accident and he wanted a reason for me to stick around. Well, joke's on him, I did not stick around because it made me very upset and no longer able to trust him because I think he did it on purpose. So that's the very long story short. I'm going to get hate for that in the comments because people are like, it takes...
So let me get this straight. The moment that your husband that supported you for 7 years because you said you were a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, well, he has been providing for you financially. He struggles one fucking time where he's actually down bad and you decide to divorce his ass. And he uses a baby as a way to connect with you. A way to reconnect with you when he is struggling. And you take that as a means for him being dishonest, not being trustworthy, and now you need a divorce. Are you freaking kidding me? If anything, girl, he shouldn't trust you because why would you trust a bitch that doesn't want to get a job? That doesn't want to help out financially but has the most to say with absolutely no solution? And then y'all wonder why men don't ever share their feelings. Now, do I agree that you shouldn't bring a baby into this world? And like you said at the end of your video, oh, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because it takes two to tango. Absolutely. Because what do you mean it was only up to him to protect himself? Because what do you mean it's all on him to make sure that he doesn't get you pregnant? Last time I checked, it actually does take two to tango. Let this be a lesson to all the men out there that this is a perfect example of a woman who is going to dump you when you actually financially struggle. The moment that you fall on hardship, she will dump your ass and make some bullshit excuse as to why she needs to dump your ass. Not once in her video does she talk about how she hustled when he was down bad, or how, she got up and did DoorDash or did side hustles or did any of that. Not once in times where, they were on hard times. She said they always struggled financially. So instead of helping her husband, she's now divorcing his ass because supposedly he got her pregnant on purpose. You will never be able to confirm whether or not that man did it on purpose, but now you are going to be a single mother of 4 children. Like, let that sink in. With no money, you've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, and you think a man is going to take you on with 4 kids? All because you also made a choice to lay down and try to make a baby? Delusional women of today freaking crack me up, because tell me why or how you think you're going to make it with 4 kids. How you're going to get somebody to date you with 4 kids. And if you're pregnant right now, doesn't that make 5? Or am I getting my math messed up? Y'all will find any excuse to dump a providing man and then somehow twist it and blame it all on him. Because it's not all his responsibility. It never was. He provided for you for 7 years, and you repay him by divorcing his ass for wanting to connect with you. Y'all look for so much negative shit in your relationships that this is why you end up divorced. Oh, you're nitpicking at everything he's doing, and now you're unhappy, rather than understanding that your husband's been going through it for the last 7 years to keep y'all afloat. And maybe, baby isn't the best idea, but the sex connected to making that baby was where the connection was. And you still wanted to dump his ass. Let this be a reminder that you can be a providing man and give everything to a woman, and when she is ready to leave, she will make up any excuse to get the hell out of there. Okay, bye. So can someone explain it to me why so many women that think men are trash will never block their ex? If that man is such trash and he beat your ass and he was abusive and he's narcissistic and he's a liar, then why don't you block him? Why do women always talk about, oh, he viewed my Instagram story. Oh, like he's still lurking my social media. Like, you guys will get off on the idea that this man is still watching you while simultaneously claiming that he's so dangerous and abusive. And let's just call it what it is. You like the attention that you get from being a victim, but you still want that man to come back to boost your own ego. And some of y'all will even go as far as like stalking the new girlfriend on social media, making fake accounts, showing up at bars that you know he's gonna be at. You didn't want to be with that man, but you don't want that man to be with anybody else, but you don't see that as toxic. Like, he's such a piece of shit, but you can't let him go. Like, someone make it make sense. And then if we talk about the good men that get dumped, y'all will pretend like he's narcissistic just so you don't have to take accountability. You will label him narcissistic so you can label your way out of accountability. It's so funny because women will always tell them this dumb shit. Like, they'll say, oh, well, you know, he didn't leave me for better. He left me for easier. As if the new girl is like some slutty, trashy girl that he just picked off the street. When sometimes a good man actually levels up. They didn't find someone that's easier. They found someone that's respectful, that's kind. If he has kids, maybe she helps and steps up and takes care of your kids. She doesn't belittle him every day. She supports him in every single way. She doesn't come in pissed off, angry, and uninspired. Let's be honest. Like, some of these women out here have lost really good fucking men. They have lost the good men that they had because they were selfish, rude, and thought that there was better out there. And the only way that they can live with themselves is by convincing themselves that these men are narcissistic and abusive, because that is the only way they can cope with the fact that they lost a good man. Okay, bye. I don't know what man needs to know and understand this, but if she is not putting in effort, she doesn't like you. I know that should be common sense, but a lot of you gaslight yourselves. You'll tell yourself, oh, she just got divorced. Oh, she's working a lot. Oh, she's going to the gym so much. Oh, she's taking better care of herself. You guys will literally gaslight yourselves into being treated less than because she doesn't really like you. I can't express it enough. A woman who likes you will ditch all of her friends, will make time for you, will want to just sit there in your presence. She doesn't need like lavish lifestyle. She'll put out very easily. You guys convince yourselves that you need to be like on this fucking wait list but it's because the one that you're waiting for doesn't actually like you. A woman that likes you is gonna cook for you, is gonna clean for you, is gonna take care of your well-being, is gonna elevate your lifestyle. The woman that likes you is not ditching you to go on a girls trip. She's not ditching you every other day to go hang out with other people. She is waiting by the phone, waiting for you to call and make the fucking plans. Women are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing, when they're doing it, how they're doing it, and what it does to you, whether that's positive or negative. Every time you ask her to pick up the phone or hey, I'm going to call you later, and she doesn't answer, she knows exactly what she's doing. When you want her to put in more effort or you want to talk to her more and she's not interested, it's because she doesn't like you. Women put in effort for the people that they want to date and be around and want to get to know. All of these women that are playing games and you think that you have to put in all this extra work to get her is bullshit. If you have to put in extra work to get her, she doesn't really like you. Okay, bye.
So I feel like these clips, or at least some of them in part, really expose one of the biggest modern delusions about relationships. A man can give years of provision, stability, loyalty, and the moment life gets hard, that man becomes disposable. This woman said her husband supported her for 7 freaking years while she stayed at home. But when they finally hit financial trouble, she left him instead of standing beside him. And what's worse is she convinced herself that this man trapped her with a pregnancy just so she didn't have to face the guilt of quitting on him when he needed her most. This is what happens when loyalty is conditional. When for better or for worse really just means, oh, well, I'm just going to be with him until it's convenient. These modern women, man. I see a lot of modern women. They love the title of wife. They love when the bills are paid, but they don't want the burden that comes along with being a partner in the struggle. And then they're going to go online and paint themselves as the victims instead of owning the fact that they bailed when the man carried the load, the man who's carrying the load finally stumbles. He finally has an off day or an off week or an off month or even an off year. I'm struggling right now. I've been carrying the family for 14, 15 years and I have one mishap, and all of a sudden you're talking about, oh, I got to get up out of here. That's betrayal. Oh, I'm empowered. Betrayal. You're not loyal. And then after the divorce, they'll keep the same man they escaped from unblocked. They're going to still watch his stories, still check on who he's with, still getting that little ego boost every time his name pops on their phone. Y'all are addicted to validation. Deep down, they don't really want that man. They just don't. A lot of these modern women, to be honest, they don't want that man to move on. And when that man finally moves on, narcissist. Suddenly, let me say this. A lot of these modern women rewrite history because it's easier to label that man a villain than to admit that they actually lost a good man. And to admit that they actually fumbled the guy. They fumbled him, plain and simple. They don't appreciate this good man until he's gone. And when the man stops trying, he stops chasing her. He stops overgiving. He starts setting boundaries. Then all of a sudden, oh, he ain't the real man. I need an alpha male. Whatever you want to call him, the man's tired of your nonsense.
The number one thing that I always wonder is how many women would not fight to be the default parent if there was absolutely no benefit involved to having these children. These women have so many benefits, whether they're married and they're taken care of or they're divorced and still taken care of. Like if you weren't getting $600 a month, $300 a month, some of y'all are at $1,000 or $1,300 a month for your children. Would you even want them at all? Some of y'all come on this app and you cry so hard about how difficult it is to be the default parent, but you won't give them to the dad, but you also will never give up that child support payment. Make that make sense. And some of y'all resent your children so much because you lost your freedom, or, you have this fear of missing out because Susie Q down the street is doing better in life because she doesn't have children, I can almost guarantee you that the amount of women that would not want to be a default parent if there was no money involved would be exponentially less. In fact, I can almost guarantee that a lot of women would be like, yeah, your dad is more financially stable and I'm getting nothing out of this deal, so you can stay with him and we'll figure it out. Because as much as people don't want to acknowledge this, there are so many women that keep having babies, and they keep doing that because they get a lot of child support, they get a lot of government assistance, they get Section 8 housing, all of these different benefits for having more children, including their child tax care credit, where if you have enough kids could be a substantial amount of money. But y'all aren't ready for that conversation. Okay, bye. Why does nobody ever talk about the weirdest concept that a lot of these high conflict baby moms have, where they want to make fake social media accounts to stalk the new wife or the new girlfriend? Like, how many fake accounts, how many fake phone numbers, how many, fake things do you need to do, and how many people do you have to get involved to confirm this narrative that supposedly the new wife or the new girlfriend is so horrible and harmful for your children, but you don't think it's harmful that you're being absolutely psychotic, like stalking somebody to the extent that you're stalking them without ever knowing them, without ever trying to get to know them, without ever talking to them, and your only perception of this person is like what you've stalked on social media. And then the fucked up part about it that nobody fucking talks about is these high conflict baby moms will then turn around and actually put their children in it, like, oh, I'm doing all of this psychotic behavior for my children. I'm trying to protect my children from danger. Meanwhile, she's still got different dudes all over her house, coming in and out of her children's lives, can't settle down, doesn't have any stability, doesn't make any money, depends on everybody else, but yet she's more worried about a stranger on the internet that she refuses to get to know. She refuses to make time to get to know this person. She refuses to be a respectful adult in a co-parenting situation, but yet she doesn't see herself as part of the problem. And let's just call it what it is. These women that do this weird psychotic fucking bullshit are jealous, angry, resentful, because guess what? They're seeing their baby daddy in real time step up for their kids and step up for the new girlfriend or the new wife in ways that he never did for her. So she's pissed off because she left him, ruined their relationship, thought that the grass was greener on the other side, and then she's realizing, like, shit, if I would have just put in effort on my side, maybe my marriage would have worked out. Oh, I'm pissed off because he's stepping up more for her than he ever did for me, and she's resentful and she takes it out on the wrong fucking person. And then she's jealous at the fact that the kids love the new stepmom, and, she can never, ever compare to someone or even comprehend how somebody can step up to the level that, the new girlfriend or the new wife has, because she's someone that is incapable of stepping up for a man's child or somebody else's child that's not her own. Like, why does nobody talk about how fucking weird it is that these women will spend more time making fake accounts than they will trying to get to know someone that has essentially stepped up for their children? Oh, and the best part about it is when the new girlfriend or the new wife gets sick of being treated like shit and bullied by everyone around, high conflict baby mom, and she starts calling her out for her toxic behavior. Now the new girlfriend or the new wife is, toxic, unhinged, can't be around the kids, even though the new wife or the new girlfriend is just protecting herself, defending herself, and still she'll show up for those kids 100%. Somebody make it make sense. Okay, bye. Women nowadays have objectified themselves more than men, and yet the men are still getting blamed. Let me explain. Men got to a point where they said, fine, we'll respect you. We're not going to look at you. We're not going to touch you. We're not going to make any single advances. You can see it here on the internet that men have given up approaching women altogether. So what did women do? They got on the internet They're posting their boobs, they're posting their butt, they're being revealing, but then they're upset about the men in their DMs or the men in their comments or men being creepy when y'all have objectified yourselves and you're still blaming the men for it. The fact that we have more women on OnlyFans than we do in the professional workplace tells you a lot about how women are contributing to their own objectification and sexualization of themselves. The irony of women complaining the way that they do is that there's gray sweatpants season for a reason, where women spend an entire winter sexualizing men and you don't hear the men in an uproar. So let me get this straight. When you're being sexualized, it's not okay. But when men are being sexualized and objectified, it's okay. And the bottom line is, everyone knows that a woman's currency is attention. So y'all do this for attention and then claim that you don't do it for male validation. Just admit it. It's for male validation. The internet has convinced a lot of these women that they're 10s out of 10, so they automatically assume that a man walking down the street, looking at the scenery and people around him, that means that he's looking at her and finds her attractive. Well, newsflash, not all men are going to find you attractive. It just sounds like another excuse to blame men, but the reality is that women have objectified themselves more than men, and the men are still getting blamed. Okay, bye.
What's crazy to think about is that so many men will change at the expense of a woman and what a woman wants, and they will change to appease the narcissistic behaviors of women, only to then turn around and claim that men are narcissistic for showing up differently in the beginning of a relationship. Because you and I both know that if men do not better themselves in a relationship, then women will turn around and say that that man's not good enough because he's not interested in ever leveling up. So which one is it? It's always like, stay away from men who don't want to better themselves, but that's translation for stay away from men that you can't control and stay away from men that you cannot change into something that you want them to be so you can be manipulative and controlling. These men show up exactly who they are meant to be, who they want to be, and when y'all slowly change them, you change them into men that you don't even like. And this is simply because you don't even like men. You don't like their masculinity. You don't like their leadership. You don't like their communication skills. You don't like them being more financially stable and illiterate than you. So you change them. You try to dumb them down into like these dumb little children. And when they need you more, that boosts your ego at first until you slowly break that man down into nothing and then blame it on him later on. And what's crazy is that these women will like turn these men into little children and then at the exact same time turn around and wonder where their husband went. Where did the real man go? And then she gets to play victim to the fact that he never did anything for her. Oh, he was just a child. He couldn't even go to the grocery store by himself. He couldn't do laundry by himself. So explain it to me how when y'all get out of that relationship, he can maintain his own household. When he maintains his own household and takes care of the kids, now you're more resentful and you hate him. It's because you turned him into somebody that he's not to feed your own ego and your narcissistic tendencies and sociopathic behavior. At the end of the day, men need to stop changing themselves to appease to these narcissistic, materialistic, sociopathic women. Okay, bye. I think one of the reasons why Charlie Kirk's passing is so hitting so heavy for so many of us, regardless of your political affiliation, is because for a moment there, especially with social media and everyone having their own opinions, whether it's minuscule or large and you talk politics or even about your favorite food or something that you don't like about somebody else or something else. Like for a moment there, I think we all really sat in silence and thought, holy shit, am I next for having an opinion about something that someone might not agree with? Or is my best friend next? You know, she's an influencer on social media. Is she going to get taken out for something that she said? There is a huge conversation missing about freedom of speech that we as a whole are kind of scared that we are going to be taken out because of our opinions and not just political affiliation. And at the end of the day, I will be like an echo chamber. I don't care care what your belief systems are, what politics you follow. If you are celebrating and you're happy about someone getting shot and killed over just having beliefs, then you are part of the problem. You stand for gun rights if you are celebrating. And I said this when Donald Trump got shot. Whether you like the man or hate the man, nobody deserves to lose their life or have their life threatened simply for existing and having an opinion that is not the same as yours or hurting your feelings. Because your feelings are not factual information, it's based off of your perception. And lastly, Erica Kirk has made a video and has spoken publicly, and a lot of y'all are already shaming this woman for how she is supposedly supposed to deal with the love of her life's death. Y'all are weird for that. Expecting someone to grieve in a way that you would grieve or do something differently in a situation that I pray to God none of you ever have to deal with is weird. My take from the things that she was talking about and talking about Turning Point USA was about keeping Charlie alive, because that woman is still in shock that she can't even fathom the fact that he's gone. So she's trying to keep his memory alive. And yeah, maybe this video just repeats a lot of shit that y'all have already seen on the internet. But at the same time, like, Charlie would have wanted our voices to get louder on our own opinions, to have open discussion. So yes, everybody that has an opinion about something should absolutely speak your mind without fear of being taken out. Okay, bye.
You know, if there wasn't child support or tax breaks involved, a lot of these women would really stop fighting so hard to be the default parent. If Section 8 went away today, a lot of these women would stop fighting so hard to have these kids. They give them right over to the dad. No hesitation. They talk about, oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, it's so hard. But they're not going to give up that check. They're not going to do it. They're not going to admit that child support check keeps them tied to the situation that they complain about. I want to get that check. Then you got these same women all over the place. Not good mothers, to be honest with you. Some of them are out here making fake pages to stalk the man's girlfriend, his wife, jealous that man is out here giving her the stuff that you thought you deserved when you didn't deserve any of it because you didn't respect that man. Oh, I'm just trying to protect the kids. No, you're trying to control the situation. Oh, now tell mommy what's going on over there at that house. No, because it's none of your business. Move on. Stop trying to manipulate the kids. Stop being bitter. Looking online. Instead of trying to take care of your kid, you out here posting revealing stuff. Out here chasing validation. Then turn around and complain about being objectified. Y'all out here keep on trying to get attention. And then when somebody give you the attention and maybe they say something crazy and off the wall, oh, these men this, these men that. At some point in time, y'all got to admit, it don't got nothing to do with the man. Y'all are mad that y'all have lost control of the situation. A man is no longer paying attention to you.
Just remember that when a woman is ready to dismiss you, discard you, humiliate you, she will absolutely do so. And let this next video be a permanent reminder of when a woman is ready to dog you out and dismiss you and humiliate you, she absolutely will do so.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends.
And here's just a follow-up of one of her most recent posts.
My husband's coming down the driveway and I just chopped my hair off and took my extensions out, which he's been wanting me to do for a long time. He says he just wants to run his fingers through my hair, so we're gonna see what his reaction is to seeing my hair short. Hi! What? You got your headphones? Hi! Hi, baby.
Look at that cute girl.
This woman got on the internet and decided to humiliate her husband and talk about divorcing his ass, okay? And he is in tune with the family. He is paying for her upkeep. All of the things that women bitch about in terms of their lashes and their hair, this woman has gotten extensions, has her nails done, has her lashes done. They look like they have a relatively nice home, if not an amazing home. And this woman still got on the internet and dragged her husband. Like, let that sink in. Let that be a reminder to all of the men out there that sometimes it doesn't matter how good of a man you are. If you choose the wrong woman who is narcissistic, materialistic, and self-centered, she will drag you, and she will wait till that 10-year mark to get alimony and child support. Because you mean to tell me that this man has essentially given this woman everything that she has ever wanted and needed, and she still feels like she's missing something? That is a woman's perception of needing a Disneyland romance all of the time with all this like bullshit. And real life is not Disneyland. And what this really is that a lot of women are unhappy within themselves, and they project that bullshit onto their husbands and make it all about like what their husbands aren't doing, when it's something within themselves that is inherently unhappy. A lot of women are so narcissistic that they don't know how to be happy without the next best thing, or keeping up with the Joneses, or there's more to life out there, meaning she wants a hoe phase and she wants you to wait in the background. Women are being brainwashed into believing that motherhood is not the greatest gift of life. That motherhood is just something that we're supposed to do because women have convinced themselves that they are oppressed by men. And to all the good men out there, I don't want to deter you from being a good man, but just know that when you pick the wrong woman, or you are wrapped up into a woman because of how she looks, sometimes no matter what you do, no matter how much you show up for her, she's selfish and she's not ever going to put you first. And it has nothing to do with how much more you can give her, because giving someone more doesn't mean she's going to turn around and suddenly not want to divorce you. But overall, let this be a permanent reminder that there are women out there that no matter how much you give them in the world, they will still find a reason to be unhappy with you. Okay, bye.
How old are you again? And you really dipping your steak in ketchup?
Yeah. Everybody does that. All they brought out.
So let me get this straight. This man decides to take this woman on a date, plan a date, in the stages of freaking courting her, and her main focus is to make a fucking video for TikTok. And you actually had the audacity to make a video about how this man eats his steak and the fact that he eats it with ketchup, and basically want to exploit your entire experience with said person instead of getting to know him for internet clout. Y'all come on this app all day long and cry about how men don't do shit anymore, how men don't put in effort, and all they do is the bare minimum, and unless a man is taking you to fucking Greece, y'all consider it the bare minimum. And I can almost guarantee you that this chick was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a great post. This is going to be great. Like, let that man eat. And y'all can't understand why these men don't want anything to do with any of these fucking modern day women that want to claim to be good women and date you, because all you want to do is use men for dates, money, and exploit them for freaking content so you can be viral or internet famous at the expense of somebody else who wanted to do something nice for you. And you don't think it's mentally ill to have your camera set up kind of secretly to record someone and the way that they eat their steak. You don't think it's weird to also secretly record somebody that you're supposed to be getting to know, and then you can't understand why later on he wants nothing to fucking do with you. And then you're probably going to come on the internet and cry about, where did all the good men go? Or, oh my God, he's such a fucking narcissist, blah, 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 all this bullshit to be in your victimhood, even though you perpetuate the cycle by doing this toxic ass shit in the first place. Okay, bye. Explain to me when we got to the point where knowing your child's shoe size supposedly made you the better parent, or knowing when your child has a field trip or a doctor's appointment and that somehow makes you the better parent. Do you realize that a lot of these mothers that still do the doctor's appointments and still do all of the school activities are pieces of shit to their children behind closed doors? Those same people are also the same people that withhold information from the fathers intentionally so they can still feel like they are the better parent. Just because you go get your kid's haircut, just because you take them to the doctor, just because you know their freaking shoe size. I love that as the number one argument for being a deadbeat dad. He doesn't even know their shoe size. Last time I checked, when was the last time you even recognized your daughter's emotions or your son's emotions over getting with another dude? You realize that you can still do all of the haircuts and know the kid's shoe size and still be emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, destruct your daughter's self-esteem, ignore your son because your daughter is the golden child, or vice versa. Your son is your pride and joy while you're jealous and hateful towards your daughter. But on top of that, y'all talk shit about the fathers of your children and still think that you're the better parent because you know your child's shoe size. Doing what you are supposed to do and taking care of your responsibility does not make you the better parent. Do you think trashing your baby daddy on social media makes you the better parent? Do you think withholding information makes you the better parent? You think taking them to the freaking doctors makes you the better parent even though you ignore them 24/7 and don't have any quality time with your children because you're too busy worried about the next dude or social media or your own shit that you got going on, and you got your mom watching your kids, you got a nanny, you got them in daycare, and you only see them for 2 hours a night? And the reality is, what it is that y'all can't accept that different parenting happens in different households, and the way that dad handles things is not the same way that you would handle things, and you can't fucking stand it because you can't give up your perfectionism. There's dads out here, and maybe even a lot of moms, that don't know their child's shoe size, but guess what? They show up emotionally. They're there to support. They're there to give them self-esteem. They're there to teach them discipline and self-control. A lot of y'all think that knowing information makes you the better parent, but all you're doing is intentionally withholding information so you can make yourself feel better. Okay, bye.
The thing about these modern women, they decide that they're done with you. It don't matter what you do. They gonna leave you with no hesitation, public or private. You can give them the house, the lifestyle, the kids, the comfort, and she's still gonna get online and humiliate you for likes. That's the reality of it for a lot of men. A lot of men don't want to be bothered with that type of stuff. It's not always about what a man did wrong. Sometimes she's out there looking for validation, attention, or that quote unquote next chapter the internet told her that she deserves. And then you see the same energy on dates. A man's trying to get to know her and she's secretly filming him for content because he eats a steak with ketchup. Or if you eat a steak with ketchup, then, maybe I'm going to film you for some content, to be honest. But everything that these modern women are doing is performative. Men are realizing that you can't really build a real relationship with these modern women because they treat you like content. Oh, why don't men respect me? Why don't men want to continue seeing me? Because they saw the video that you put out. Oh, well, if he was a real man, bull crap. I don't want to hear that. You can give a woman stability. You can give a woman effort. You can give a woman peace. These modern women, you can give them all of that. That's not what she wants. She gonna tell you that's what she wants, but she wants attention. She's addicted to attention. She'll trade all of that for clout. That's the part that most men understand, and that's why most men are walking away.
Explaining to your kids why their daddy doesn't want to see them is the easiest thing. First, show them his Facebook page where he's having fun all over the world without them. And then just gently let them know that they're just not good enough.
As much as this woman tries to make all of this content like satire, let's be so for real about the amount of women that want to come on this app and cry about their baby daddies being the role model and stepping up to the plate while simultaneously being the active role that shits on the other parent and constantly fucking drags them. Like, where is your role as a role model as the other parent that's actually involved? And the amount of women that don't view an entire social media page about their fucking deadbeat baby daddies as some form of parent alienation blows my fucking mind. So you mean to tell me that you expect these men to step up and be an active role and a positive influence on your children, but you're not setting the example as someone who's actually there? Make that make sense. And let's be so for real, there are so many good dads out here that get shit on, that get talked down to, that get abused through the court system because of the gender bias against men for women automatically being the default parent. Men could show up and then women are going to be mad that he shows up too much. Oh, if he shows up too little, then he's a deadbeat. If he pays too little, then he's a broke ass dude. If he pays too much, then it's never enough money. If he's nice to the children, then he's trying to brainwash them against mom. If he's mean to the children, then he's abusive. No matter which direction an active father wants to play, if there is a bitter baby mom involved, there is no way that man stands a freaking chance. And that's a conversation y'all never want to have because you always want to blame all of this shit on the dads. Meanwhile, you're the one creating parent alienation. You can never convince me that you are the better parent if you have to constantly talk shit about your ex or the father of your children to make yourself feel better and then basically brainwash the kids against him. Okay, bye. Does anyone ever see the irony in the fact that the amount of women that bitch about their deadbeat baby daddies not being able to pay child support are the exact same women that if the roles were reversed would not be able to pay child support? Not only would they not be able to pay child support because they make no money, the court would likely order like $100 payment, $200 payment, and the likelihood of them even being able to pay that would be substantial. And you know this to be factual because how many men will ask for primary custody and not ask for child support? But when it's the other way around and the woman wants primary custody, there's no way in hell she's giving up that child support payment. And then if we break it down even further, a lot of these women are getting child support, but then they pawn their kid off to their mom, the babysitter, their neighbor, their sister, and they're going out doing whatever the hell they want, and that money is not even going towards the child. But when dad actually has to leave the kids with his mom because he has to work, now he's a deadbeat. And the reason that so many women don't want to give up their primary custody is because having their children makes them feel better about themselves, while they simultaneously resent the idea that they're a single mother doing it by themselves. More women will bitch about having the responsibility of their children than they ever will to give up their child support, which tells you everything that you need to know. Okay, bye.
Just remember that if she's accusing you of love bombing, she's accusing you of wearing a mask, she's accusing you of being a narcissist in the beginning of a relationship because you faked it the entire time to essentially sleep with her, is the exact same woman who in the beginning of a relationship was cooking, cleaning, showing up for you, listening to you. You would come home from a long day at work. She wasn't nagging. She wasn't a bitch. She wasn't rude. She wasn't disrespectful. She was doing all of the wifey things that you expected until you put a ring on it. Once you put a ring on it, now all of a sudden she doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. She thinks that she is above everything. And guess what? You end up in a sexless, loveless relationship and y'all will tolerate it just because you're afraid of losing all of your shit. And just remember, the only reason that she's projecting all of this bullshit onto you is because she didn't show up in the relationship to be the person that she actually is. Who you see when you divorce her, or who you see when she gets into motherhood, where she's vindictive through the kids, where she's stalking you through the kids, where she's harassing you for money and all of the things through the kids, is the exact woman that she actually is. And the only way that she knows how to cope with the idea that she fucked up and that she didn't present herself as the woman that she pretended to be in the beginning of the relationship is by claiming that you're the abusive narcissist, even though she's lied, manipulated, cheated, probably stolen, and tried to get her way every step of the way. A lot of y'all are still in sexless, loveless relationships because in the beginning of the relationship, she presented herself as this sexual being and she actually manipulated you by making you believe that she was the love of your life. But guess what? The love of your life does not leave you confused, broken, broke, unsuccessful. The real type of woman that you need is the one that's going to build you up and actually be there and still maintain a sexual drive no matter the hardship that the two of you are facing. Okay, bye. If your girl does any of the following, just know that she probably shouldn't be your girl anymore and you need to dump her ass. The first one is if she's talking shit to you and she's being condescending to you in front of other people, like she's putting you down and degrading you, and she's like masking all of these insults as jokes for attention, the same way that she probably posts all these, jokes about you on the internet, masked as insults. She doesn't respect you. She doesn't fucking like you. Like, she shouldn't be your girl anymore. This one should be common sense, but if she has an OnlyFans or she's posting half-naked photos on the internet and her butt cheeks are out and she says that she's doing it just for her, she's not your girl anymore. She is everybody else's girl and everybody else gets to see her in the same capacity as you, which means you're not special. The next one is if she has Snapchat. That girl is not your girl. Just know that she is texting other dudes, multiple dudes, all day long, keeping her options open because you're just another guy on the roster, because you cannot convince me that anyone with a Snapchat is loyal, and she's not loyal to you. She doesn't respect you, and she kind of gets off on the fact that she can still do whatever she wants while claiming to be in a relationship with you. That girl is not your girl anymore. If she calls you names, if she calls you a fat ass, if she talks shit about your appearance, if she talks shit about you balding or any of your insecurities, or even calls you like a dumbass bitch or whatever the hell that girls want to say nowadays, that's not your girl. Any kind of name calling or disrespect, she's not your girl. She's not your girl if everything that you say annoys her. If everything that you say, she starts an argument, she doesn't like you. She is intentionally trying to misunderstand you because she doesn't fucking like you because she's not your girl. And lastly, if she has a guy best friend, she's not your girl. She's waiting for her guy best friend to become single so then she can make her move, or she wants to have her cake and eat it too while dating you and keeping her said best friend. And that best friend, they've already either hooked up, had a fling, or she's waiting for her guy best friend to also become single so then they can have a thing together. And you're just kind of the placeholder until her guy best friend becomes available. That's not your girl. Okay, bye. I love how these toxic bio moms will always make up all of these rules that dad has to listen to, but she doesn't have to follow herself. Let me explain. She'll always bitch about how the kids are at their grandparents' house and not with their dad, even though she'll keep the kids in daycare till 6 p.m. every single day, even though she has a remote job. So it's okay for you to accommodate your schedule, but when dad accommodates his, now he's a deadbeat. I love when these toxic bio moms will be like, oh my god, every girlfriend that he has is inherently dangerous. Meanwhile, she's allowed to have multiple dudes in and out of the kids' lives, and she calls them just friends, even though they're like situationships, and every single guy that she ever has is around the kids and meets the kids. I love how these toxic bio moms will be like, oh, everything in my house is private, but everything in dad's house, I have to know everything that's happening, when it's happening, and how it's happening so I can control it. But at my house, it's absolutely private, and he has no right to know what's going on over here with his children. I love how toxic bio moms will always bitch and complain about how they don't have any help, but their loser boyfriend doesn't want to help. But when the stepmom or new girlfriend steps in, then she's overstepping and she's a bitch. But when your loser boyfriend doesn't step in and help you, he's still a saint and he's still looked upon as stepping in and being a good role model. Make it make sense.
I love how these toxic bio moms be like, oh, the kids can't have soda or candy at dad's house, but at mom's house they can wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and have a Diet Pepsi. It's perfectly fine. I love how these toxic bio moms would be like, oh, it's so dangerous. Don't let your new girlfriend or your new wife post the kids on social media on a family vacation, but I'm going to make my entire identity mom humor and mom content as a mommy influencer, and I'm going to put their names and their information all over the internet because I'm allowed to do that as their mother, but you guys are not allowed to ever do anything like that because it's dangerous. Let's just call it what it is. These toxic bio moms just want a sense of control and want to control everything, and they don't realize that they have more of an impact over their children sometimes than any other person that exists, and they still choose to do the wrong thing. Okay, bye.
Y'all ever notice that some of these modern women can't talk about their baby daddy without trashing him? They'll say he's a deadbeat, but they never mention how they've been running his name through the mud for years. They'll tell their kid, oh, daddy doesn't want to see you. But they're the ones blocking the calls. Blocking the calls, man. Starting drama, keeping them out. Then they'll turn around and post it online all day like they're the victim. Oh, he never comes to see the kids. Oh, he's never around here. Oh, I can't get you to come in and do anything for the kids because you blocked my number. And that's the truth. A lot of these good dads get pushed away on purpose. That's what these modern women are doing. They're doing it on purpose. And they get labeled toxic no matter what they do. If the man shows up too much, he's controlling. If he works hard, he's absent. If he's struggling, he's useless. Really, with these modern women, to be honest with you, there's really no winning when these baby mamas want to control the situation. They don't want peace. They're not looking for peace. They're not looking to co-parent. They're looking for power. And unfortunately, the kids get caught in the middle of this.
When are women going to learn that men are not trying to ghost you? Y'all will sit up here and ignore a man for 3 weeks, maybe even longer. He's trying to ask you out on dates. He's texting you every day, and y'all want to play these little baby games and wait like 3 hours to answer him. You want to post on your Instagram story that you're out with all these other dudes to make him jealous. You want to play all these puppy games to get him to chase you. And then when he stops chasing you, you turn around and call him a narcissistic piece of shit because he ghosted you. Meanwhile, he basically just stopped talking to you because you're not putting in any effort. You're not reciprocating the same energy. And he said, fuck it. Y'all will be up here half naked on Snapchat, on Instagram, have guys in your DMs, you're answering all these other men, but the man that's actually prioritizing you, you treat like shit. And then some of y'all have the audacity to sit up here and say, oh, that man's doing too much. Oh my God, he blows up my phone all day long. It's so fucking annoying. Like, doesn't he have something else to do? Meanwhile, the toxic dude that never talks to you, that wants to hit you up for a booty call once every 3 months is the dude that y'all go after and get pregnant by. And then you get on here and scream, why are all men trash? Why are all men shitty? Why, like, how am I a single mom? And you cry about it as if it's not the consequences of your own actions. And when are men gonna learn that it is not acceptable to tolerate a woman for more than a week who is not communicating, who has poor social skills, who is using you for your money, your wallet, your time, your effort, and your energy, but also is not reciprocating the same energy? If she is not going out on a date with you after like the second time you've asked her, get the hell out of here. Stop wasting time on women that are showing you that they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to reciprocate energy, because even in the slightest chance that she's actually not interested, then why can she not use her big girl words to tell you that she's not interested? Because she wants to play games, because she's narcissistic and she's toxic, and you need to run the other way. Okay, bye. Well, relationships are not ending nowadays because everyone is a narcissist. The real reason why so many relationships are failing nowadays is because y'all are in loveless, sexless relationships, and a relationship without sex is just a friendship. Women will go months, years, not having sex with their boyfriend or their husband or their significant other, and then turn around and wonder why he goes out and cheats. or he goes out and finds something like alcoholism or gambling or something that makes him feel good? When are women going to learn that you ruined the connection with your boyfriend or your husband when you consistently told him no when he tried to connect with you through intimacy? Men need that for validation. Men need that for attention. Men want to feel loved, needed, respected, and how he feels needed and respected is through intimacy. If you are a woman seeing this video and you feel physically ill when your husband or boyfriend tries to touch you, or you're grossed out, or you immediately have a headache, he's not the one for you. Stop torturing that man. You need to leave that man, because it is not normal to go through years and years without any intimacy, without touching, without kissing, without holding, without cuddling, without being, soft and gentle with each other. You guys break your man down into little crumbs of human beings, because not only is he not getting sex, he's getting passive aggressive behavior. He's getting an attitude the minute that he walks in the door. Every time you see that man, you're literally in a bad mood, and he will literally stay in a relationship with you like that because he loves you. And you torture him over and over and over and over and over again. As if, sexual intimacy is a fucking chore. A lot of y'all are killing your own relationships with the amount of times that you tell a man no. Do you know how many men are currently in relationships right now, or have wanted to leave, but they know that they will lose all of their shit if they leave? They know that they'll get 30% of time with their children, and they don't want to lose out on seeing their kids grow up. So they are living in a literal hell because you don't want to look at him, you don't want to touch him, you don't want to validate him, you don't want to connect with him. Y'all are fucking roommates, and you turned it into a roommate stage the moment you stopped having sex with your boyfriend or your husband, period. And a lot of y'all will say, oh, well, if he treated me better, I'd want to be intimate with him. Don't you think that if you gave him any form of intimacy, he would want to do things for you? It takes two people in a relationship, and you cannot expect this man to give and give and give and give while you never reciprocate anything in return. Relationships are literally failing because women are turning this shit into roommates and expecting the man to still pay for everything. Okay, bye. You're not a good mom if you do any of the following, and I stand by this. If you withhold the children from your baby daddy, you're not a good mom, because why are your kids not coming first? If you are still married and you are spending every last penny that your husband is bringing in because you're going to Starbucks, you're overspending for your wardrobe because of what Susie Q has down the street, you're not a good mother, because you're financially abusing your entire family. If you are getting any government assistance, any help from your parents, and you're hiding any kind of income either from social media or any other outlets that you are getting money, and you have not lowered your baby daddy's child support, you're not a good mother. Because why are you financially draining him when he still has the same bills to pay as you do, and still think that that's productive for your children or child? If you sign your kids up for extracurricular activities that are outrageously expensive without discussing it with your baby daddy first, and still expecting him to pay half when you get your half from your mom, and you're financially abusing your baby daddy in this way on top of his child support, you're not a good mother. Because why are you making that man so financially strapped when he's trying to pay for two households if you want to take care of your children properly? You are not a good mother if you don't maintain a healthy relationship or try to get to know the stepmom or the new girlfriend that is committed to loving and helping support financially and emotionally your children. Yeah, all the bitter baby moms. I don't owe her shit. I don't have to do shit. I'm the bio mom. But if you love your children and you're a good mom, you're going to foster a healthy relationship with any woman that man brings around. Please note, when I say that, I mean all the good stepmoms out there and all the good partners that are showing up for kids that aren't theirs every single day without a goddamn thank you. If you withhold any kind of information about the children, about their homework, about their grades, about like an upcoming chorus concert or a football game, and dad doesn't know about it and he misses out because you don't want him there, or because you are so resentful you don't even want to be in the same room as him, you're not a good mother. Because why are you not fostering a healthy co-parenting relationship? If you never take into consideration the amount of time your baby daddy loses because you moved 2, 3, 4 hours away in a different state, but you are still mad at him because he lives far away and he can't be there for you on the day-to-day, then you're not a good mom, because you can't make a decision for yourself and then be mad at the result. If you have multiple dudes around your children and you want to say that they're just friends or they're your situationship, but you have all these rules that dad's girlfriend or the girl that dad is interested in, can't be around your kids for 3 months, you're not a good mom. Because why is it that, only the women are dangerous, but you got a different dude around, your 6-year-old daughter every other week? Like, make it make sense. If you are treating your baby daddy like shit, you're financially abusing him, you're emotionally abusing him, you're not actually co-parenting, you're just wanting to be in control of the situation, you're telling your kids that it's okay not to go to dad's house all of the time, you're not fostering healthy relationships with his new wife or his new girlfriend that has been committed to your children, probably more than you are not a good mom. If you are not helping the situation to where you are saying, hey, I recognize that maybe you're struggling financially or emotionally, so, I'm going to take this off your plate instead of adding to that man's plate, you are not a good mom. Okay, bye. Why is it that so many of these bitter ass baby moms claim that they want to co-parent, but what they really mean is that they want to be in control of their baby daddies? Because why is it that you want that man to be involved, but you want to undermine his decision-making as a parent? Why is it that when dad does something different or something that you don't like, now you're pissed off? Is it because that you're not in control of the situation or anything that happens at dad's house and it has nothing to do with the children? Claim you want the father of your children to have a good relationship with your children because it's in the best interest of the children, but all you do is speak negatively about your baby daddy in front of the children to tarnish their relationship with him, while simultaneously preaching that you're a good co-parent. And this is one no one ever talks about. How about these bitter ass baby moms that the moment that the children are having a good time at dad's house, she's going to call them up and she's going to show them the excessive gift giving that she's giving them so they have something to look forward to when they get home. So now all of a sudden those kids don't want to be at dad's house because guess what? Mom has showered them with all these gifts when they get home. So now they're ready to go back home. But yet you think that's good co-parenting. And it comes out of spite and jealousy. Let's not forget being late to pickup or drop-offs, changing plans and canceling plans, or letting your baby daddy know last minute of plans so he loses out on weekends or time over the summer or holidays because you didn't plan or talk to him appropriately. Because you would rather be in control of the time spent rather than communicating like an adult. Let's not even get into the financial aspect where you abuse the father of your children and you want to tally mark every dollar you've ever spent on the children. You're sending him these spreadsheets. You're spending hours and hours trying to calculate how much money he supposedly owes on top of the child support that you're getting. And you constantly manipulate him through financial abuse, but yet you claim that you want a good co-parenting relationship. No, you don't actually give a shit about your kids. You don't care. You don't care about anything but yourself. And you want to control that man. You want to know what's up with his life because you can't move on. And the only way that you can do it is by using your children as a pawn. Some of you are not co-parenting. Some of y'all are just being controlling. Okay, bye.
I don't know when these women are going to learn that men aren't ghosting them. They're just done wasting time. The man texts you, he asks you out, he's showing real effort, and instead of texting back and showing effort, you ignore him for days. You're out here posting thirst traps, trying to make him jealous and thinking that's feminine energy. And then when a man finally stops trying, you call him toxic or narcissistic. No, he's just tired of foolishness. He's tired of chasing a woman who clearly doesn't care. Some of y'all are actually complaining that a man's too available. Too available. Can you believe that? Oh man, he's too available. You're not busy enough for me. All the while, you're entertaining 5 other dudes who are barely texting you back. You're out here pushing away the man that actually wants you. Then you get online crying and complaining and carrying on and falling all over the bed and stumbling all over a power cord for dramatic effect. Crying, talking about the Chad or Tyrone never call you back. Men, stop entertaining women who play these types of foolish games. If she can't communicate, she can't make time, can't respect your effort, get out of Dodge. Move on. The right woman is not going to make it hard. She's not going to make you play all these stupid guessing games. She going to let you know, hey, I'm interested. Period, man.